Okay, in the last class we were discussed about the electric current, then electric potential difference, and the definition for the SI units of these quantities. Next, we identified that the potential difference is the necessary and sufficient condition for generating a current, or in order to flow an electric current or a amount of charge, a potential difference is a necessary and sufficient condition. And how these current and potential difference are related. That means the potential difference is necessary to create a charge flow or a current. Then how this potential difference affects the flow of charge. That means what happens if we created a potential difference due to the variation of that potential difference, what happens to the flow of charge or amount of current, whether it increases or decreases. Then the relationship between the current and potential difference is first put forward by Sir George Simon Ohm, that is a scientist who put forward the relationship between this current and potential difference across a metallic conductor. Then that particular relationship or the relationship between the current and potential difference is known as Ohm's law. As the owner of this scientist George Simon Ohm, it is known as the Ohm's law. And the Ohm's law gives the relationship between the current and potential difference across a metallic conductor. And first we have to familiarize first we can check what is the statement of this Ohm's law, and after that we have to consider an activity for the verification of this Ohm's law. The relationship between the current and potential difference is given by Ohm's law. Then after that we have to consider an activity or an experiment for the verification of this Ohm's law, that is how these current and potential difference are related, and we are experimentally we are verifying that one, or practically we are verifying that statement of Ohm's law. Okay, the statement of Ohm's law is at a constant temperature, the current flowing through any conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends. Once again, we can consider, according to Ohm's law, at a constant temperature, the temperature should be considered as a constant one. Why the temperature is considered as a constant one, that we have to consider in the next section. Then, at a constant temperature, the current flowing through any conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends. The amount of current should be proportional to the potential difference across the ends of that conductor. That is a statement of Ohm's law. That means the current I directly proportional to the potential difference V. Current I directly proportional to the potential difference V. So we can remove this proportionality, or replace the proportionality symbol with the equal symbol. We have to introduce a constant of proportionality, and here we are introducing a new constant term that is represented with the capital letter R, and it is known as the resistance of that conductor. Resistance of a conductor. We are already familiar with the symbol of this resistance or resistor. Then variable resistor, at an type of variable resistor as is rheostat. These electrical symbols we are already familiar. Okay, and this constant is known as resistance. Voltage and current are directly proportional. Then in order to replace the proportionality symbol, we are introducing a constant. Then that constant, that is V equal to R into I, or we can write it as V equal to IR. That is the mathematical form of Ohm's law. Statement of Ohm's law is, once again we can consider, at a constant temperature, the current flowing through any conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends. It is V proportional to I, or V equal to IR, where R is a constant known as the resistance of that conductor. And the mathematical form becomes V equal to IR. That is the final mathematical form of this Ohm's law. Okay. It means directly proportional means if we increases the potential difference, the current increases, and if we decreases the potential difference, the current flow also decreases. So, in order to create a current flow, potential difference is necessary. As we increases the potential difference, amount of current also increases. If we decreases the potential difference, the current also decreases. This means it is directly proportional. Then, next we have to consider the activity or the experiment for the verification of this Ohm's law. That means the V and I are directly proportional for a metallic conductor at a constant temperature, that we have to verify. And for that purpose, we have to consider an activity or an experiment. In order to conduct that experiment, we require certain electrical components. We require a metallic wire. We are considering a nichrome wire. Then, in order to measure the current, we require, which is a device used to measure the current, is ammeter. In order to measure the current, we require an ammeter. Then we have to consider, or we have to measure the potential difference. And in order to measure the potential difference, we require a which device? We require a voltmeter. Then next, in order to create a potential difference, we require, in any circuit, in order to create a potential difference, we require a voltage source, and we are considering here cells as the voltage source. A number of cells we have to consider, and if we require, then we can connect a key or a switch in that particular circuit in order to on and off that particular circuit. Okay, these are the major components required to conduct this experiment. Okay, and first we have to connect these components in a particular manner, that is in order to consider a circuit. Okay, while considering an electric circuits, already we familiar that the ammeter should be connected in series way and the voltmeter should be connected in parallel to the region where we want to measure the potential difference. Okay, so just connecting the components in a particular manner, that means this voltage source cell, then connecting wires, and at the end we are considering this nichrome wire, then ammeter is connected, and in order to measure the potential difference across the nichrome wire, we connect the voltmeter. Okay, this is the circuit diagram for this Ohm's law experiment. The next day, first we are considering, or first we are including only a single cell in that circuit. That means only one cell is connected in the circuit, and we switch on that circuit. Then whenever we switch on that circuit, what happens, or close the key, what happens, the current starts to flow, and the amount of current should be indicated in the particular ammeter. Then also the potential difference which is created by that cell is indicated in the voltmeter. Just we can note down the values. Just here we represent that value of current as I1 and the corresponding potential difference as V1. When we are including only a single cell, we obtain the current in that circuit as I1 and the potential difference across the nichrome wire as V1. Then after that, we are introducing one more cell in that circuit. We are adding one more cell in that circuit and switch on the circuit. The same way, here also we can measure the current which is flowing through that circuit and also the potential difference which is created by the two cells included in that particular circuit, that is indicated in the corresponding voltmeter. And here we can mark that or note that values as V2 as the potential difference and I2 as the corresponding current. In the same way, we have to add 3 cells in that circuit and note down the values of this current and potential difference. We can mark it as I3 as the current and V3 as the potential difference. Then again we are adding one more. If we request, then we can add one more cell, then corresponding current and potential difference values we have to note down. Okay, and we have to tabulate these values of current and potential difference. Then after tabulating these values, just we have to find the ratio between the current and potential difference for each case. That means we have to find the ratio between the current and potential difference when we are including one cell. Next we have to consider the ratio between the current and potential difference when we are included 2 cells in the circuit. The same way we have to find the ratio between the current and potential difference for 3 cells and 4 cells. Then after tabulating these values or finding the ratios between the current and potential difference in each case, we can see that for each case the current and potential difference values are different, but the ratio between the current and potential difference always remains the same. If we consider this activity or experiment or conduct this experiment, then for the same material in each case, that means when we are adding the cells, what happens actually, we are increasing the potential difference. So the voltage values are increasing, at the same time the current value also increases. That means for each case the current and potential difference values are different, but the ratio of current and potential difference in each case remains the same, and that all obtained as a constant value, and that constant is known as the resistance of that material. The constant which we are obtained as a ratio between the current and potential difference is considered as the resistance of that conducting wire. Here we consider the nichrome wire, and the value, the R value of these ratios V by I ratio is obtained as a constant value, and that is termed as the, or that is considered as the resistance of that nichrome wire in this particular case. Okay. So from this activity, it is identified that whenever we increases the voltage or the potential difference between the ends of that conductor, the current flowing through that nichrome wire or that conductor increases, and the ratio between that current and voltage always obtained as a constant one. That constant is known as a resistance. Thus we can verify the Ohm's law. Ohm's law stated that the current is directly proportional to the potential difference, or the ratio between the current and potential difference should give a constant value. The same thing practically we can obtain by conducting this particular experiment or activity. Then one more way we can use for the verification of this Ohm's law. Here we obtain the current and voltage values for each case. For 1 cell, 2 cell, 3 cell and 4 cells, we have the current and potential difference values. Then again, in order to verify the direct proportionality between this current and potential difference, we have to plot a graph between the current and voltage. If you plot a graph between the current and voltage, then that means the current we can consider along the x-axis and voltage we can take along the y-axis. Then if we plotted these particular values of this current and voltage, we should obtain a straight line, a diagonally passing straight line which starts from or which passes through the origin of that axis. We obtained a diagonally passing straight line, and that straight line indicates what the direct proportionality of this current and voltage or potential difference and current. That is again gives the verification of this Ohm's law, that is the current and voltage are directly proportional. The current is directly proportional to the potential difference across ends of that conductor. The statement is again verified with the help of this straight line graph. That is the Ohm's law and the experiment or the activity for the verification of this Ohm's law. Okay.